This is a tutorial on the ZwoBot Shutter device. ZwoBot is a suite of Max for Live devices that allows you to create visuals inside Ableton. If you're new to ZwoBot, I'd recommend you go back and watch some of my earlier tutorials, and I'll put a link to those in the top right corner of the screen now. And if you'd like to buy ZwoBot, there's a link in the description. So the Shutter device splits your visual into different segments and shifts it around, essentially. I've already connected it to my ZwoBot player, and I've got this image which I've loaded up into one of my video decks. Nothing's happening currently, but if I start to turn this shutter dial up, you can see we're getting these segments of the image that are being split and moved slightly. So the shutter dial controls how many of those splices you're going to get. So the higher up it is, you can see the more the image is separated up, and the lower it is, the less slices there are. And then below the shutter dial, we've got this offset dial, and that controls how offset the image is. So as you're turning it up, you can see it's moving horizontally. And then direction will control which direction that movement is happening. So it's currently set to X, which is why it's moving horizontally. But if I want it to move vertically, I can select Y. And now those segments are horizontal and the movement is vertical. You can also select ZA and ZB, which is diagonal. So diagonal to the left or diagonal to the right. And then there's circle, which creates a bunch of circles like this. And when it's circle, you can see there's also this kind of warp effect happening in the middle. And then underneath the direction controls, we've got this wavy option. By default, that's off, but if you turn it on, you'll notice you get this wavy movement happening. Whereas when that's off, you don't get that, so it adds a kind of warped effect. All of these controls have sound reactivity and beat controls. We can have a beat control on this direction setting, which means it's going to change in accordance with your master beat control on your ZwoBot player, and that is going to be synced to your project BPM. And we've also got these audio responsive controls, so I can have this shutter dial respond to the lower frequencies by selecting low here, and then I can move this green part of the dial to control the sensitivity of it. And offset, we could have respond to the highs by selecting high. Now the offset dial is changing in accordance to the higher frequencies of the audio, and the shutter dial is responding in response to the lower frequencies. And the direction is just changing randomly every note, which again is synced to your project's BPM. In the bottom left hand corner, we've got our usual transparency and blend modes, so this controls the overall transparency of the effect. And then here we've got a selection of blend modes to choose from.